Hello guys, this is Recapz Now here. Today, I will explain a biographical short film, Uncle Drew. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie begins with a documentary being shown about the basketball legend Uncle Drew, who played in the Rucker Classic. Many icons of the game from that time like Steve Nash, Hammond, and Dikembe Mutombo talk about what a marvelous player Drew was. We see Jerry saying that he thought Uncle Drew deserved to be in the NBA's logo instead of him. Uncle Drew and his friends became famous and topped the first Rucker Classic solely because of Drew's talent in the year 1968. But the fame was short-lived as sooner rumors spread out that he was having an affair with the girlfriend of one of his teammates, and that they had spent the night before the finals together, and as a result, he could not perform to his potential in the finals and everything was ruined. Uncle Drew vanished after the game and nobody has seen him since that day. After this, the scene shifts to the present day, where a man called Dax Winslow, who is a basketball coach, is seen forming a team hoping to win the Rucker Classic. The team has a lot of quality players, but they all pinned their hopes on the star of the team, Casper. Dax personally had a lot of expectations from Casper, and we see he does everything he can to keep Casper happy. One day, the old foe of Dax, Mookie, visits them during practice and makes fun of him for the fact that how he even thought of a win. We learn that Mookie had won 7 out of the 9 Rucker championships and reminds that to Dax every time he saw him. However, Dax is seen confident about his team this time around. But Mookie says that as he had the habit of winning the championship, many star players like Casper end up with him. His comments make Dax tense, because if the players wanted to switch teams and move to Mookie's side, then he had no power to stop them. After Mookie leaves, Dax goes to Casper and asks him if he needed anything. Casper knew Dax worked at a shoe store and asks him to get a new pair of expensive for Casper. Dax, however, tries to dodge the topic and says that he would give him a Jordan once new stocks arrived at the shop. That night, Dax has a dream about his childhood and how he had not been chosen by any parents for adoption when he was in an orphanage. As he was lonely, he showed interest in the game of basketball and excelled at it in the end. We learn that he was so good at it that he did not lose a game till he got to middle school. But that unbroken streak of his broke and everything changed in the space of a match, when Mookie blocked his shot and as a result, his team lost the game. Not only did he lose the game, but Dax also lost everyone's respect due to that single incident. And we see that it still hurts him and he had not recovered from the pain of that loss. The loss affected him in such a traumatic way that he got dreams about the match till now. We see Dax is now living with his girlfriend, Jess, who dreams that one day Dax will be rich enough to buy her a Tesla. But at present, it was Jess who was managing and covering up for all his financial needs and expenses. One day, Casper and his friends visit the shop where Dax worked, and they hope that he would buy them shoes as promised to prevent them from joining Mookie's team. We see Dax keeps his promise and agrees to get them a pair of new shoes for all of them, even though it costs him approximately $1,000. While paying the bill, the machine declines to accept the card that belonged to Dax, so Jess has to come to his rescue and help him out. The next day, Dax happily goes to the court to give the team their jersey. He is left utterly surprised and shocked to find that Casper and the rest had decided to join Mookie at the last moment, betraying him. An angry Dax asks them to return the shoes, but they refuse to give them back. The next day, a video goes viral in which Dax is seen taking the shoes from Casper and the rest of the team members forcefully. Jess is embarrassed by the incident and breaks up with him, and also kicks him out of the house. Now Dax has nothing but a trashed bag loaded with his clothes and nowhere to go. Even in this situation, he continues to go to various basketball courts around New York trying to recruit talented players for the team. However, since he had not won a match, no one was willing to play for him. In one court, he hears some elderly man talking about how poor the style of play of the youngsters was. The group of youngsters overheard the man saying so and they challenge him to a match. At first, no one gives the old man a chance of winning against the youngsters, but soon they are proven wrong, when the old man ends up scoring many baskets and also teaches the young man where that was going wrong. Dax is impressed by the skill set of the man, and he soon discovers that the man was the legend Uncle Drew himself. The man is about to leave the place when Dax asks him to join his team. Uncle Drew is hesitant at first, but he agrees to join the team if he could bring his group of boys along with him. We see that the man is determined to get his old team together, and he wanted to win the tournament this time around. After this, the two men board the van of Uncle Drew and go on a road trip to DC to find new guys. While on the road, Dax and Uncle Drew argue on what music to play between jazz and hip-hop. In the morning, they stop in front of the church as one of the players, called Preacher, had indeed started to work as a preacher in real life. They catch him performing the baptizing of an infant while holding the baby like a basketball. Dax calls the preacher out for being careless and ends up being baptized himself. Then, Uncle Drew informs Preacher that they were on the mission to get the old team together again. We see Preacher was more than happy to rejoin the team, but faces resistance from his wife Betty Lou. Dax and Drew were almost leaving when Preacher joins them sneakily. The trio drives away in a hurry, but Betty Lou gets a hint and follows them in her van. She almost catches them, and just before that Uncle Drew runs a red light and escapes. After a while, they stop at a filling station to get refreshed. Dax asks the duo why they discontinued their playing careers after 1968, but he gets no replies. Then Preacher asks Uncle Drew if the tensions and problems between him and the big fella, who was another team, been cleared. Drew rubbishes him off and says that a game of basketball would be enough to solve the problems. After this, they go to a place called the Arcade. There they find another teammate of them named Light playing basketball. Light has weak eyesight and as a result, misses every shot that he attempts. Dax clearly understands they could not win matches with such players. But Uncle Drew agreed to play with his old team alongside him only so Dax had no other option. Light also joins them instantly when he heard the team was reuniting, though he could hardly see their faces. The other team member is Boots, for whom they go to a retirement home nearby and find that he suffers from catatonic schizophrenia and had not walked in several years. Dax is astonished when Uncle Drew insists that they should also bring Boots in the game. Boots has a granddaughter, Maya, who takes care of him and has to come to the game along with him to look after him. The last player on the team is the guy that has an old issue with Uncle Drew, and he is called Big Fella. He has not talked to Drew in ages since the team broke up, and he was currently employed as the sensei of a karate dojo. When Uncle Drew approaches him at first, he gets a punch on the face in return. We learn that Big Fella still held grudges with Drew, but agrees to join the team for the sake of the others. After the team assembles, they return to Harlem. Here again, they are chased by Betty Lou, but they lose track of her in the car chase. When they stop to take a break, Dax finds out that he had no money to buy gas. He notices a group of female basketball players and challenges them to a match for $100. Unfortunately, the oldies are quite convincingly and shamefully defeated by the girls. At halftime, Dax tells Drew and the rest of the team that he needs them to perform well, as he was left with no money. However, the team still loses, but Uncle Drew and his friends pool their money together and pay off for the bet that Dax had. On reaching Harlem, they visit the basketball court where they used to practice in the past. We see Drew gets gifts for everyone in the team who he thinks will help them win. He gives Light a pair of glasses that help him with his visibility issues. To Boots, he gives his favorite pair of Converse. Using them, he finally manages to stand up. For Preacher, he got a cross necklace. Lastly, he gives the big fella their first kids' tournament trophy. The guy, however, crushes the trophy as he had not forgiven Drew for what he did years ago. In the meantime, Dax visits Jess and finds out that she had also moved on from him and was now dating Mookie, who was his biggest rival. Dax then comes back to the game and is determined to prove them wrong and make them regret it. In the first game of the tournament, they start well and continue to play well for a short period of time, but eventually lose the match due to the pre-existing conflict between Uncle Drew and Big Fella. After the match ends, the two visit the grave of Big Fella's wife Jennifer and sort out their problem. It is revealed that Uncle Drew had an affair with Jennifer in the past, which he continued even after knowing that Big Fella loved Jennifer, and he had not apologized to the Big Fella for his mistake. And this is what has been bothering the Big Fella since then. We see Drew admits that he also fell in love with Jennifer, but the happenings of that night were a mistake. Drew apologizes at last, and Big Fella forgives him for the mistake. After the problems are sorted and a settlement reached, the team wins all the matches that they play. The team members go to a nightclub and celebrate the win, but are laughed at by the youngsters, whom they beat in a dance-off, proving their youthfulness and superiority. After a while, Maya, the granddaughter of Boots, is about to kiss Dax when he gets nervous and backs off. The older group, however, encourages Dax to give it a shot once in a while. The team then wins a series of games and makes it to the semifinals. Now the equation was, if they win this game, they will have to face Mookie and his team in the final. The team does well until the first half, when suddenly Big Fella has a heart attack and Betty Lou, who had finally found the team, replaces Big Fella. It is finals day, and the team goes against Mookie and his team. The atmosphere is tense due to the long-standing rivalry between Mookie and Dax. Further, we see Casper making fun of Uncle Drew, which only motivates the team even more. At first, it looks as though they would get beaten, but within a few minutes, they get a grip on things and understand the opponent's plan. The team does exceedingly well, scoring baskets at will until Casper and Light collide into the net post, causing Light to hurt his ankle. And as a result, he has to withdraw from the game. Dax freaks out in tension, not understanding what to do, when Uncle Drew suggests that Dax replace him in the match. Dax is afraid of losing again, as he had not played since middle school, when he lost to Mookie, but as they had no option, so he agrees to play. We see Mookie also fill in for Casper, which makes Dax nervous. On the other hand, Meyer and Jess argue. The match starts again and Mookie quickly scores his first basket in seconds. When only 8 seconds are left, Dax gets a chance to score the winning basket. However, at this moment, he gets a flashback from his last match and requests a timeout. After some encouragement from the team, Dax resumes the game with new energy and motivation, and scores with the winning shot, finally defeating Mookie. The crowd erupts and cheers him on. We see Mookie talking to him with respect, which he had never done before. After the win, the team visits Big Fella in the hospital, and Dax uses the prize money to settle a hospital bill. The last scene shows everyone watching the news report on ESPN that terms Dax as a hero. Thus, the movie ends. Thank you for watching.